Yes, I think it's live, ma'am.
Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to the session. So today we will be discussing about the. Is it still echoing?
Yeah, it is having echo, madam. I think one device you have to sign out.
I'm just signing out from this device. I think Ravi can share the screen for the other one. iPad,
Yeah,
I'm just signing out.
That will be fine.
Okay. Hello everyone. So welcome to the session. So basically this session would be to introduce you how to prepare this year for preparing for the NEET PG 25. So in this session, I'm Dr. Gayatri, your Obs and Gyne faculty. I have the stalwarts faculty here with me, the topmost faculty, including Rajamahendran sir, our surgery faculty, Rajasi ma'am, our PSM faculty, Sonu sir, the top microbiology faculty, and Rohit Daniel sir from Orthopaedics. So welcome all these faculties to the meeting, and they would be guiding you how to prepare this year and go ahead with your preparation for your journey this year. So this session would be for interns as well as post-intern students. We would be basically giving you a game plan as to how to ace this exam. The main agenda of this session would be to initially see as what all plans you can have for the what all the problems that you faced in this NEET PG 24. It will be an analysis of this session and how this exam was different from the previous year exam, and how you can ace this exam by what are changes can you do for this exam so as to ace this exam. And finally, we would be giving you a plan or a gift from us as well. There is a new plan which is introduced, that is the DocTutorials Live Pack, how you can use this plan so as to incorporate in your preparation as well. So first, let's go into the analysis of what happened in this exam. So basically, there were a lot of changes that happened. Basically, there was this postponement initially. So the dates initially was planned in March, then it was shifted to July, and there was the preponement to June, and so many changes were there. So let me first ask Rajamahendran sir. So when do you think this year's exam is going to be conducted? When do you expect that exam? What would be the tentative earliest date and the latest late date that we can plan for this exam?
Good evening, madam. Good evening to all my colleagues in the platform. So usually this is a well-known date. Most of us know. Always the exam is kept in March. For all India entrance exams, the ideal time of examination will be between March 1st to March 31st. This is routinely happening for more than 5 to 10 years. But because of COVID, there are so many confusions and everything had so many collapsed schedules. I think this year the exam might be between April maximum to May. That's all. They won't postpone beyond May 31st. So also the internship is completing by May 31st. So I feel the maximum last date might be May 31st. It won't be beyond that. But I feel students should prepare with the plan of completing everything by January and have a first revision with the February and March. So March 31st, they should have completed first revision. That will be ideal. So anyhow, we will be knowing the exact date by January itself. So don't worry, but don't think the exam will be postponed like June, July, August until it don't happen. It will be before May 31st. So that is what we feel, madam. Yeah.
Yes. It's always better to be prepared early than be late. Yes, sir. It's better that you should prepare in such a way that they can at least plan 1 or 2 revisions before this tentative date, that is March.
Yes.
So, Rohit, in this session, the sessions were conducted in 2 slots. There was this normalization that happened, and many of the students were messaging that maybe that affected the ranks very badly, and they were expecting a somewhat a better rank or a better mark, and the rank that they were getting were not as such. Did you hear such experience from students, sir? What is your take?
Yeah. So first of all, a very good evening to all my students. So I'm Dr. Rohit, the orthopedics faculty at DocTutorials. So let's all hope and pray that this is the last year that we get all these rubbish concepts like normalization and all. So it is such a non-transparent way of conducting an exam. So I think what has happened was that at the last minute, the examination committee had to change the dates of the exam. And finally, they had to conduct the exam within 2-3 weeks, and they couldn't find the appropriate number of exam centers. So that's why they had to conduct it in 2 slots. But I hope and pray that this never happens again, because this is not transparent at all. The students will always have complaints. See, many good students this time were not able to get a good rank in the exam. See, we also felt that many students who wrote their exam and found that they had done very well in the exam, but when the rank came out, it was not to their satisfaction. This is all because of normalization, and we hope that this never occurs again. And I think that it's not going to happen again, because with the lessons they have got, I think NB is going to conduct a proper exam next time.
Hopefully, sir. I'm sure that that's the prayer of each and every student that is there, that at least next time it will be a uniform pattern for everyone. That actually helps for a standardized pattern as well. Because many students were saying that the second shift, the evening shift, was much more difficult, and they were finding much more difficulties as compared to the first shift. And so many differences were there between the students.
Yes, when you are conducting an exam of this standard, I mean, there should not be any loophole left by the conducting authorities for any questioning. This was not a transparent exam at all, what we had this time. It was all done in a hurry-burry. The question patterns were not consistent with what the questions had been asked over the last few years. And finally, the normalization pattern. So we went back a decade to bring back all these normalization and all those things. Hopefully, this is an end to it, and we never see all these things again.
Yes, sir. So well said, sir. Yes, sir. And even this time in the subject-wise weightage, we could say that this, even though this was not called as a next exam, but there was so many next pattern type of questions, even from the paraclinical, preclinical subjects as well. The questions which came were pretty much more clinically oriented. It was more of an integrated type of question. Sonu sir, what do you feel about the type of questions that came this time?
So first of all, good evening to all. And you are, ma'am, right perfectly that they are moving towards the next only. And in an integrated fashion, they want to ask up the pre and para also. And this is what is the way out. They will be in the future also asking of the same stuff in the integrated manner. Suppose like they want to ask regarding meningitis and they want to integrate with the microbiology. So they will ask up like a case scenario, and they will give the certain features of bacteria, and they will try to tell that this particular thing is observed, this reaction is observed, name the organism, or what you will get on the CSF analysis. That type of integration will be there. Like they will ask up regarding the, like what are the clinical features of this particular meningitis, and then like this already is coming up from the last year itself. This year also a lot of questions of that sort, and in the future when they are moving towards the next, I suppose this is the way to go. They will integrate the pre and para with the clinical one. And basically in the NMC scenario also, the same thing is happening, that they have those competencies, integrations of every sort. So this is what is the future. They will integrate it with clinical one. And now that microbiology and all others, they are also termed as clinical microbiology for the second year and all. So basically, they will be moving towards that only. Infection control, biomedical waste management, and all this. So this all will be coming up from my side for this particular one. So a lot of integration in the future for sure. That is to come from the pre and para also.
Yes, sir. So will this integration be good for the students? Will it make the students more clinically oriented, helping them to face the real-time scenarios and all? Rajasi ma'am, what do you feel about this? Should the students focus more on the clinical aspect during the time of internship so that they are able to solve such question better? Or should they give a considerable amount of time for doing questions and practicing? How should they approach it during the internship? Rajasi ma'am, are you with us?
Ma'am? Rajasi ma'am has muted.
Am I audible? Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Okay. Hello, good evening. So actually, there was some problem with the, and I think I couldn't hear it properly. Am I
So
audible?
Sunita yes, ma'am. Now you're
Yes.
audible. Perfectly.
Okay.
So Sunita
So,
was telling how the questions are being more integrated, coming in a more integrated manner. So I was just asking, what do you feel about such type of integrated question? Is it for the betterment of the students?
yes, definitely it is for the betterment of students. That is exactly why I always tell students that when you are doing your internship, you should start preparing for the PG entrance from there itself, because there they are seeing the cases, and if they can align it with their study materials, it would be really helpful for them to study in a wholesome. Like if I can tell them about the PSM postings, when they will be in PSM, I'm taking PSM as an example because I'm a PSM faculty. So there they'll be posted in CHCs, PSCs, where they'll see a lot of cases. So when they see a case, definitely they can read about it in the material that we are providing them for the exam. I mean, for this, the study material that we are providing. So they can align it with the study material, and thereby they can actually integrate whatever they are studying from the hospital with their future exam. So definitely that will help them.
Yes, definitely. Yes. Because so many clinical aspect is coming. It's most
Exactly.
of the key that you're applying in this. I think that, of course, the internship has to be rightly used, and it should not be just taken as a time to practice just questions. Both those things should come hand in hand once they are.
Yes.
And in the last year, I would say there was a lot of focus on shortcut tricks, mnemonics, and all those things. And I think Rajamahendran sir had made a very beautiful video, not just right now. Before the exam itself, sir had predicted this, and sir was saying that you should not focus on any form of shortcuts or mnemonics. So, what is your take on this, sir?
Madam, this is very clear because the examiners are not somewhere from, they are not aliens. They are also one among us. They are watching what is happening in the market. They know what students are preparing, what they are reading. Even if I am going to set a question paper, I will never make this type of questions because I know what is happening in the market, because they are going for shortcut methods, simple methods to crack the exam. So definitely, as any examiner, they can easily understand the students are not understanding the concepts. They are preparing shortcut method and completing the exam. Shortcut mnemonics may be suitable for old exams. Like so 3 years back, FMG exam was very easy to prepare with the shortcuts and mnemonics. But even FMG exam now is very difficult. It is more conceptual and more clinical oriented. Same way, they have changed the NEET PG question completely clinical oriented way. And to answer this clinical oriented questions in this exam, I can say easily you would have answered if you would have read the corresponding subjects when you are doing internship along with the internship work. For example, if you are doing a catheterization during your internship, there are around 25 MCQs in catheterization itself. All those questions you would have read correspondingly, you would have answered the questions related to catheterization. So that is what now the questions are moving more towards clinical integrated way. So by reading only the notes or by reading only some shortcut methods, it won't work out in future, because the examiners are sitting along with you. They are also preparing for some super specialty exams along with you. So they know where you will make mistake and they are utilizing it. Actually, to be frank, the questions which are asked in the exam are not tough questions. If you ask any postgraduate, they will easily answer without even referring the book. They can answer those questions because they are practically followed questions. So we have to modify ourselves accordingly for this exam. So definitely the examiners may go for that type of clinical questions only this time also. Madam, what happened in NEET PG 2022 and 3 were pure fact-based questions like tables, scores, etc. was asked. So, but 2024 is totally different. This type of question was not asked before, because this time the question is very clear. They didn't ask a clinical question and a clinical answer. They gave an image. With that image, they want you to understand the clinical concepts, and with that clinical concept, they are going to the question. So it is like more like integrated image, clinical, and understanding the concept. So all these are needed in this exam. So the same pattern will be upcoming, will be there in the upcoming exam, and we DocTutorials are totally modifying every questions in such a way. So definitely you will know the difference when you are writing the grand test in our series. Yes, ma'am.
So rightly said, sir. Like even after exam, many students were saying that exam was very difficult. But when we look at the questions were pretty easy. The main problem is that once they are directly going into shortcut, they are not getting the wholesome picture. They are not able to apply it into the clinical scenario. Maybe that's the main difficulty that they are facing. So again, I would emphasize the importance of learning the concept right from the beginning, and then you make your concise note from that so that you are able to revise. But still, the knowledge should never be compromised. Once you learn from subject faculty, you are learning in depth those concepts, then it becomes pretty much clear. Even this year, the questions were not totally any alien type of questions. It were the simple, pretty straightforward question that came in a more applied, integrated manner. I would say these questions are more aligned with the questions that come for PLAB, USMLE. They were right from the beginning itself. They have been asking such questions rather than going for any shortcut types. So
This
again,
time, those students who
students were
were
saying that.
no, I was just trying
Yes,
to
ma'am.
add that this time in 2024 NEET, those students who were taking shortcut methods found it very difficult to crack the questions because they were like they knew that they have heard it somewhere, but they were unable to find which is the answer. Whereas those students who really prepared concept-based studies, they were able to crack the exam this time. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly. Yeah. And students were saying that previous year topics were not there at all. Mostly it was new. Sonu sir, what do you think? Is it our previous year topics totally out, or are they there but presented in a more different format? What is your take
Ma'am,
on?
as per my subject, the questions were there from the previous years. It is not like they were not there. But yes, there was a twist. It was not so straightforward. It seems like if they're wanting regarding the UTI also, if they're asking now, so that is also in the clinical scenario they're asking. That some lady have come and that particular lady is having the features of having dysuria, burning picturation, all that is there. And on the microbiological aspect, what they have asked her, that more than 10⁴ bacteria per ml of urine was seen. So is it significant in this particular scenario? We will call it a UTI case or not. So first of all, they have confused with 10⁴ because 10⁴ is not significant bacteria. So certain students, what they thought that this is not UTI. But 10⁴ along with features, symptoms and signs of UTI is a UTI case. You need to treat that particular female. So these types of twisted questions were there. Like more than 10⁵ is significant. But what they have written in the question, more than 10⁴. So everybody's confused. We will take it significant. We should treat or not. You should treat because features are there, symptoms and signs. So until you don't know that which all scenarios you need to treat, you don't need to treat, these questions will not be able to be handled. So they like mix up the various things with the some interventions and all was asked, like some sort of a procedure was done, like CSF shunting and all, which particular organism associates with that. So in the options, two things were very near to each other. So until you know that this is the one which does more of it. So that sort of things, tricky ones are there in this particular exam. But as per microbiology, some were repeats also. And these types of pattern, like which I have seen now, like the answer seems this, but answer was something different. So this will keep on happening in the future also. And because of that only, a lot of students were thinking that we have scored up 180, 170. They landed up with 140, 130. So this was the main thing, which I thought like they were thinking that this is right, but it was not the right. So it's a sort of a tricky paper, not exactly like direct repeats or direct that particular question repeated one have come. It was there, but with a twist. Okay, and what they thought that it is a repeat, and directly they answered up and landed with the trouble. And that's why this shifting and over that this rationalization have done everybody so problem.
Yes, sir.
So I
Very
think
valid.
like this is what the way forward. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, that's why there were so many disparities. Students were initially telling us, oh, and finally, when it came, it was something totally unexpected. Maybe sir has cleared it out why there is so much disparity between what was expected and what the result came out. Thank you, sir, for the insight into it. Rohit sir, what do you feel about your subject? Was it more image-based or one-liners, or was it more factual type of questions that has come from orthopedics?
See, orthopedics is an image-based specialty, isn't it? X-rays are an orthopedician's eyes. So last 2 years, it was amazing because out of the 10 or 11 questions you get from orthopedics, you get one image or sometimes two images. How is that even fair? Orthopedics, you expect a larger number of X-rays or clinical images, and somehow this time they have corrected that error that have been going on for the last several years. That's what I feel. So that is one thing. I think image-based questions, as far as orthopedics is concerned, is the way to go. Second thing, again, as other faculties have told here, the questions were not straightforward or superficial. I have to say that it was not superficial, it was a little bit deep. I'll give you an example. So usually they will give you an X-ray of a metatarsal fracture and ask you to write the diagnosis. So that is easy. You count the number of metatarsals and you mark it as third metatarsal fracture. That is easy. Sometimes they will ask you, here is the X-ray of a fracture. How do you treat it? You treat it with BK cast, below knee cast. That is also easy. But this time what they had asked is, how long will you put a BK cast? See, that is a very clinical and a treatment oriented question. Unless you had read it before or unless you have seen it done during your internship, it was almost impossible to answer. So this is the kind of questions we are now facing. I think it is, I think such questions can be there. I would also say that it's more or less the step in the right direction, because earlier what used to happen was that students who would rote learn, so those who study lots of mnemonics and one-liners could score easy marks. But this time what they have done is that the questions are structured in such a manner that unless you have a little bit of clinical know-how, the question was not that hard. If you look at it, it is a very simple question. How long would you put a cast? So if you have that basic understanding, or if you had that a little bit of experience during your internship, you would have easily answered that question. But if you don't have any clinical knowledge about it, you would have never got the answer correct. So these are the kinds of questions that are now coming. I think as we move to the next, we can expect more such questions in the further exams as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, even in surgery, I think the questions that came, students found surgery particularly difficult because there were so many surgical aspects and itself, surgical images were given in the question. So how can students go about it? How to understand these surgical images and how should they study about that? Rajamahendran sir, can you please throw some light on it?
Yeah, madam. Most of these surgical images are actually from Bailey and Lowe, madam. Most of the images are from Bailey and Lowe. Naturally, students would have read Bailey and Lowe during their final year, they would have answered easily. But as of now, we are making every surgical images in our material, like in our DocTutorials workbook and all, we have made all the images as much as possible. And we are going to discuss all those images also this time, madam. So no need to worry about those who are preparing for this year, they need not worry. We will be definitely doing a full surgical image session this time. That is not a problem, madam. I think they have not asked any tough surgical image, madam. They have asked only basic surgical images. But this time we will make that easy, madam, for them.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And another change was that it was basically divided in timed sections. Initially, students were a bit skeptical once this came out because it was divided in time section. But I feel that it's actually a blessing in disguise itself, because students are able to fix the time for each. They won't go overboard with any one question. They have fixed a time. Once they finish that slot, they can move on to the next slot. Again, I think it will be a blessing in disguise in the long run as well. So now you have got insights from all these faculties about what are the changes. The main message that is conveyed is, instead of going for any direct shortcut technique or some magic to happen, it's always better to clear your concept, to build your concept, to make your notes clear, and again revise that. So let's see what all you need this year to crack this NEET PG exams. The most important thing is in-depth conceptual knowledge in correlation with a clinical understanding of all these things. Repeated revision has to be there, and you have to allot some time so as to practice the questions as well. You have to practice questions, because only then you will be able to apply this knowledge that you get. Just having notes won't suffice. You have to repeatedly practice that. You should start doing questions right from the beginning. So what would be the ideal time when a student can take a grand test? This is one question students often ask. When should I start doing grand test? Suppose I start my studies by the month of September. When should I start doing this grand test? Rajamahendran sir, when do you think would be the right time for them to practice questions or to start the grand test?
Madam, actually, that's what some students have also messaged in the YouTube. I'm seeing the comments. One student has asked how to prepare per day. So I will say, madam, in one day, 12 hours we are preparing means in that 8 hours they should prepare the theory with the concepts. 2 hours they should do previous year topics and 2 hours they should do some MCQs. So undoubtedly 2 hours daily they should practice MCQs. Either it is a subject-wise test or it's a grant test. So they have to split up like this. 8 hours should be preparing the concepts, because if you are strong in the concepts, you can make thousands of questions. You don't need to read questions. So therefore, you try to make the concept strong for 8 hours. Just to do 2 hours of MCQs from previous year topics, not any question banks. You just do previous year questions. You read those questions and read with your concepts. You can understand how the questions are being framed. Just spend 2 hours for any Q bank. Whatever Q bank you are reading, either DocTutorials or whatever Q bank, just use 2 hours. Let it be a grant test discussion, a Q bank, or it a subject wise, something you have to do 2 hours, madam. They should split 8 to 2. This will be ideal for 12-hour session. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Unless they start doing the question, they will never understand the high yield areas as well. Only once they understand those high yield areas, they will know where to focus again and again and repeatedly revise those topics. So it's very important that you integrate the doing of questions along with your studies. Both should go hand in hand. You can do that same question at the same time. So what about the grant test as such? Is it good to take it at a very early stage to know where you are, to get a general idea, or should the students wait for some time to at least cover 20 or 50% of the syllabus before?
Madam, at least to write the grant test, they should have finished some 6-7 subjects. 6 to 7 subjects. Otherwise, if they do grant test, they'll get depressed. By seeing the low score, they will get depressed. Better finish 6 to 8 subjects minimum, then you should appear for grant test, madam. No need to appear earlier. It will be more traumatizing for them. They will be feeling so much depressed, seeing the overall grant test score, and they'll go demotivated. Better finish 8 subjects or maximum 10 subjects you finish and start writing the grant test. Until then, don't attempt grant test without finishing at least 6 to 8 subjects.
This is one thing students often say, that they attempted grant test and afterwards the score has come low and they are feeling too dejected. So if at all you are giving a grant test also, don't take it so much into heart. You just feel it as something as a practice which helps you to find out what are your low areas, what are your high areas. It's not a direct correlation with your final result. Initially, the grant tests are going to give you a low score. That's completely fine. Gradually, it's going to pick up, and the best grant test will be your exam day. That should be your focus. You gradually build up your concept, the score and improvement. Initially, maybe 4 or 5 grant tests is going to be bad, but at that point of time, you should not stop giving this grant test. Only after that low point, it's going to peak again. So keep doing grant tests. All those are very important. That's going to give you the skill of solving MCQ. There is an art of solving MCQ as well. It's not the direct knowledge. You can rule out some options, come to use some form of the common sense as well, so as to come to a final answer. So doing this grant test is very, very important. So what is the timeline to prepare for this year? We have given a rough timeline here as well. So September 24th till Jan 21st, we should focus on building the concept. At the same time, you can start practicing the MCQs as well. From Jan to Feb, at least you should plan your first set of revision. Then again, the final 10 days, you should have a notebook with you, which you have the very high yield facts as well, which can help you to revise in the last 10 to 15 days. You can just go through it. So ideal would be to plan for at least 2 to 3 revisions, and hand in hand, always the MCQs should go. And in between, you should test yourself by doing these MCQs. So there are some mistakes that students often do, and there are some things that you must do during preparation. Sonu sir, what do you think are the most common mistakes that the students do, and some things that they should absolutely avoid during this time of preparation? Many a times there are some things that they often repeat and which can be detrimental in the long run. Sonu sir, can you throw some light on it?
Yeah, the things which I found, suppose they have done a class. Today somebody have studied a microbiology. What I think what the most students they do mistake is that on the same day they will not revise the microbiology material, they will revise some other subject. So they will not be having the benefit of sitting up in the class also, or on the online session what they are having up. So that will also go waste. And the new thing which they have read in the evening time, that will also be a problem. So this is what is the from my side, that if you are reading up a particular thing in the class, online class, or any sort of offline class, you should revise the same thing on the same day. It is not so that on the evening time you will do something else without revising the things which you have done in the full day. That full day will be a waste. If you have not revised that particular subject again, so that will be definitely a waste of the time sitting up in the class also, and you are not revised. And the subject of mine, which is so full of facts, you know, if you have not revised them in the evening, all things will go for the next day, for sure. Okay, so this is one of the things which I really see up, and the students, they do this mistake and they land up without doing anything after 4 days of the class or after the online session and all. So this should not be done. You should do the questions of that particular one. First of all, you should study up the same material, those notes which you have made up in the class again in the evening. Let it be like 1 hour, but you should scroll up those particular pages. And if at all, if you find time, then you can do the MCQs of the required topic. So that will be the ideal approach to remember the best of the things. And even like my subject is that sort that some of the facts are there. So this is what is the best way to remember these particular facts, that on the same day you should do that. Other mistakes which they do is you only told that they tend not to give the exams. They don't give these particular subject-wide tests. They are afraid of giving up GTs. So that should not be done. That is the biggest mistake what they do, that if I give this exam, I will have less of the marks. Don't get into this trap. Let it be less. Doesn't matter. But after this, you should keep on giving it, and whatever wrong things you have made in the GT or subject-wide test, you should write up in your copy that this I have done the wrong, and next time it should not be wrong. That should be the approach. What should be the approach? This particular one should be the approach, that the things which I have done wrong today, it should not be a wrong in the next time. If you have this type of approach now, this time I've got this much marks, I will not. Most of the students, they do that. When they get less marks, they don't tend to give the subject-wise test also and GTs also. What they think that it will be depressing and all. But if you don't practice what you are getting up in the exam, then you will land up with a failure only. So let it be less, doesn't matter. But what you have got from that, that is what is the most important thing. So you should give GTs, you should give subject-wise tests. Let it be less marks, doesn't matter. But the same should be on the increasing trend. That should be the point. And if you're increasing up till the exam is coming up, then definitely that is what is, it should be followed in this particular timeline only. Let it be less in the starting. Don't be depressed. Don't give up. Because a lot of students, they don't go for the second one because I already have got so much less marks, I will not be giving up. That is what is the problem of most of the students. They don't want to face the reality. You should face the reality. And when you face the reality, then only you will succeed. So that's what my take is.
Such a wonderful message sir has given. Yes, we should always take the mistakes that we have made in the grand test. Once you start improving that, that's the most important thing. Everyone makes mistakes, students. So these mistakes, you have to correct it so that in your final exam, you don't make the same mistake. Keep on correcting yourself. Whenever you see that you are making some mistakes repeatedly, just write it down. As I told you, write it down, make a small note of it. Let's just analyze it. Why are you making those mistakes? Often there are some things which we do repeatedly again and again. Like in my time, I had this problem. There would be some all except or not in the question. I would be just reading the question. Sometimes you miss it. So there are some things which happen often. So if you find that there is something like that which is happening in your preparation, have a note of it. You understand, you analyze it thoroughly after a GT, why you are making those mistakes, and you try to correct yourself. This is the time to improvise. Don't feel disheartened at all if you have a low GT, low score. Everything is helping you to improve yourself and reach your final destination. That is getting your dream branch. And one problem that students often faces now, there is multiple resources here and there. Often they feel, they fall into the FOMO. Am I missing on something? Am I missing on something? It's a constant fear in students, and they spend a lot of time gathering resources. I feel that they should have a fixed resource and they should stick on with it. In the initial part of preparation, maybe you can slightly change, but once you are set with it, after 2-3 months, you should not keep on changing your resources and keep on adding, and you should not be in that FOMO, because again, that is going to eat up a lot of your time. And again, that's one mistake that I have found from students. So you should focus on revision rather than falling on all this FOMO, trying to gather as much as possible. Have fixed notes with you. You are going to revise that thoroughly. So, Rajasi ma'am, what do you think? How many sets of revision should a student do before going for an exam? If a student is repeating for 1 year, how many sets of revision would be ideal for the person? Rajasi ma'am, am I audible?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Now you're audible, please.
Okay, sorry. So I can't say this many number of revisions they should do, because it's like, it depends upon the student. But an average student should be able to do minimum 3 revisions is what I feel. Because, after studying, definitely, unless you do minimum 3 revisions, an average student will not be able to, reinforce all the topics that they have learned. Because revision is something like, when you're reading first time, definitely you will learn a lot of things. But what you have to understand is you will be learning only around 80% or 75% when you're reading for the first time. And the rest 25% out of that, maybe like, another 10% you will imbibe during your next revision. And obviously you will be reinforcing that 75% that you have read already. Along with that, 10 more percentage. Then another the last 10% they'll be taking in the second, and whatever is left behind in the third revision, definitely they will imbibe all the topics. And, without missing even a single, I would say a single MCQ, or even without missing anything, all 100% will be imbibed for an average student if they revise at least, I'm saying at least 3 times. But if you feel that, you are not, I can't say you're below average, but you feel that you need little more time compared to the average students, then definitely you have to go for more than 3. This is my take.
Thank
This
you.
I'm saying based on the experience that I have gained from, being with the students for the last few years.
Yes, ma'am. So beautifully said. Actually, that's true. Most of us, just by one read, no one retains everything. It's important that we revise again and again. And most of the time, after first understanding everything, when you go back to those notes, you might be a bit dejected. You might feel that you are only remembering maybe 10%, 20%, or maximum 50% out of it. That's completely fine, students.
Yeah, it happens with everyone. That's what, everyone.
Yes. So don't stop at that step. Keep on revising. After once or twice, then you are going to get the gist of it. You will remember those things. So revision is very, very important. So rather than just going for multiple sources, focus on the revision. That is very important. So now we are getting very good ranks from interns as well. They are preparing so well, and so many interns are motivated to study. So how do you think an intern should approach this exam? What should be their strategy? Because there is so much work going on. They have to focus on clinics as well. At the same time, balance this preparation. So most of the interns are confused how to study. Ma'am, what is your take on that?
This is something very confusing for students, because they always keep asking, should I start during my internship? Should I focus on my internship alone, or do I have to go, do I start preparing? So I would say internship is the best time that you have to start preparing, because you are completely, you have just come out of your theory part. So the theory part is very strong when you are out of your MBBS UG. And now it is the time that you are practicing, you're seeing things. And in internship, we have some certain subjects which are certain postings which are very tough for them. But subjects like PSM, ENT, ophthalmology, these are relatively free subjects. Like clinical postings will be there, but you have a lot of time. So I think this is the best time that you can start preparing for your entrance exam. And I would like to point out something regarding the Doc Live program. Here, I would say the Doc Live program is something which is very, very suitable for an intern, because along with your subject-wise posting, you can also listen to the classes that are being taken. And just in case you are missing out because of your busy schedule, if you're missing out any topic that is being taken in the class, we have a provision to keep the recorded classes for a few days. So they can always come back and they can learn whatever is left behind. And thereby, along with the subject, along with their clinical posting, they'll be able to finish off all the subject-wise topics. And by the time they complete their internship, they will be having, an overall view of all the topics, how the exam is going to be. Everything may not be in 100%, but like I said, it's the first time. So around 75-80%, they'll be definitely able to cover if they are starting from internship.
Yes, definitely. And that actually gives a good edge for the students as well. So try to cover as much as possible by not compromising your clinics at the same time.
Exactly.
I think Doc Live is a perfect plan for the interns as well, because in the comfort of their home, whenever they are available, they can listen to this. And whenever they are unavailable, they can maybe hear to the recorded version as well.
Yeah, that is something with the internship. Internship means you have to be there in the hospital. You cannot go to an offline class and attend. You have to be there in the hospital. So what Doc Live is doing is, we are coming to your hospital, right? We are coming to your house or wherever you are, and we are trying to provide you whatever is needed at the comfort of your hospital or in the or at home. So that is something which is which they can actually make use of it.
I think not only for the intern, for the post-interns as well. There are so many students who are actually working at the same time and trying to manage all those things.
Yes.
So for them as well, it's a boon that they don't have to stay just one place and learn. They can manage both these things if possible. And again, they can study at the comfort of their home. They need not travel to some other place. There is the homesickness, of course. Then all those things are not there. So again, many students have been messaging even the chat box that whether the notes would be provided. Yes, you are going to get a pre-filled workbook that is going to be couriered to your house. You would be getting those things, and most of the things are going to be already provided in the workbook, and you have to fill the workbook. So Rohit sir, we have recently given these workbooks. So what is your opinion about the workbook? Like how much percentage the students have to fill, and is it just a superficial kind of thing, or is it just exactly mimicking what we are doing in the face-to-face classes? Rohit sir, what do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think workbook-based discussions are a very, very important way to train yourselves. Why? Because our workbooks have been designed to exactly mimic our classes, and let's say it is around 80 to 90% pre-filled. There are around 10 to 20% of the things that the student has to fill after listening to the classes. So what does is that the most of the empty slots where the student has to fill, we have designed it in such a way that these are the key things or the key important points that the student is forced to fill. When the student writes with his own hands in the workbook, what will happen is that it gives a mental impression of the concept. So once he himself writes the important concept, he is never going to forget it. So that is the primary concept here. Secondly, there are lots of empty spaces that we have given in the workbook, so that even if you find another important point that you think is important and you have to add to the workbook, you can easily do that. So we have designed our workbooks in such a way that that would be your one-stop revision material and your study material. You will not have to look at any other source. Even if you are getting, say, 3 or 4 extra points, you can always write or add those points into our workbook. We have designed it in such a way that you can integrate the other important points as well. So the workbooks, if you have a copy, then that would be sufficient for your entire studies. So that is the importance of workbooks.
Yes, sir. I think every faculty at DocTutorials put in the effort and time to make the workbook as wholesome as possible, so that students are able to correlate and write less when we are teaching and focus more on the concepts. One question that students faces, is it going to be very much different from the face-to-face classes, or will it be an interactive session? Will I feel left out, or will I zone out, blank out, because it is a live session? So, sir, what do you feel about it? How different is it going to be from the face-to-face session on online session, or is it going to mimic the same face-to-face pattern?
Ma'am, most likely it will mimic up the offline one, but obviously it's not possible that how much you interact with the offline, you interact the same way in the online. So that might be somewhat disturbing also sometimes. But yes, definitely, like as in the offline, immediately you can ask that out. Here also, if at all some chat box and all is opened up, then in that particular student can write up that this particular concept is not clear, this particular thing is repeat up, or they can say by prompting also, if at all that is an option to do. So more like actually the interaction will happen more for sure, rather than that app one in this online life. Like firstly, the students they will actively, what you say, they will be there. So it's not like you are teaching up the camera only. So you definitely you will be having some things inputs in the chat box also, sir. This particular thing was told in this manner, was in this particular stuff. So you can clear that doubt immediately at that time. So that is what is the benefit of this online life, that you can actively chatting up with the students. Like this particular topic was before told and this particular concept was there, but sir, you told in this way. And I have planned my workbook in this fashion that those particular things I intentionally made empty, which I have to focus upon, that this should be emphasized. Okay. And when I like to tell up that this is what have come last time, so you will be understanding more, or like retaining more, or remembering more this particular thing, rather than doing up everything and then I tell that this is what. So I intentionally left that empty. So that should go in your mind for up till exam at least. This will come again, or the relative things, or this is a topic which is to be done in a proper manner, and the questions can be framed in such a manner that this was asked this time, next time might be the another thing regarding this topic asked. So in this way, I have planned up the workbook along with the images and all, and definitely you will find it like from the comfort of your home, wonderfully well to attend this particular online live sessions. So this is what is my take is. So definitely it will be good in the chat and all, active interaction can happen, because if we open up the mic and all, that will be a problem. So online chatting will be the main one, in which you can able to know that this concept was clear, that how does the ELISA works. You could able to get what is the indirect ELISA, direct ELISA. They can easily tell up, and then that can be repeated. So that is what is the like benefit of this online live and all.
Yes,
Is this concept was clear or not and all that?
Yes, sir. True, sir. So students, if they are active in the chats very well, it can properly mimic the face-to-face as well. So they should also be active and they won't sleep. And sir has so much thought is put behind the workbook as well, in such a way that they have to fill the key concept. So yes, so that you are not sleeping when the class is going on, you are active and you are taking all those concepts properly. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your input, sir.
Along with that, they can sit and munch if they want. They can, they'll be very free. They don't have to be, they have to be alert, of course, but, unlike you're in a class, you won't be dozing off and you can take water in between, you can munch, whatever you want, you can do. You have that liberty as well. Along with that, you will be hooked to the class.
Yes, ma'am, exactly. Ma'am, if you were taking the app or this thing, which would you prefer? Would you prefer a live session or to hear the pre-recorded videos which are there in the app? What is your take on it?
Of course, pre-recorded video, that requires a lot of motivation. Now, pre-recorded videos are available everywhere. But, listening to a live class means you are interacting with the faculty. And you are seeing them, even though it's not face-to-face, in a way, virtually, it is a face-to-face interaction. You're seeing the faculty, you are listening to what they say. And whenever you have a doubt, at that moment, you can ask that to the faculty. So you can either chat, or if there is a, if you can unmute, you can even ask. And moreover, if you are unable to unmute as well, we have a faculty group after the class. You always have the liberty to ask the faculty regarding the doubts. That means even after, suppose you are missing some part, that is another beautiful thing that we have. Suppose you are, if you're getting a call or something, and if you have to go out and you're missing a part, you can always watch the pre-recorded video. And if you have any doubt from the pre-recorded video, we faculty will be there to help you out all the time. You can always ask us. We'll be giving you our number. We have groups. You can even personally call us. Call one of us and we'll be always there to help you out. So, even if it is in live class, even after the live class, we are there to help you out.
True. Even before this exam as well, everyone was so appreciating. Even ma'am, your group was so active. Vandana, everyone, Rahul Rajeev, everyone, Rajamahendran, everyone was so active in the group and solving the doubts actively as well. We had multiple groups, including research group.
What I have realized is the real interaction starts after your live class. In the live class, they'll be little suspicious whether I can ask this. So they'll be writing it down, and once you stop the class, they'll be behind you. Madam, I had a doubt. After this, we had a doubt here, so I just wanted to clarify. But we are always happy to help you.
And at this point of time, many students are in doubt where to start, how to start. So we are providing a rough schedule as well that we followed for the coming months. So we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. In phase 1 is from September till January, where the live classes for all 19 subjects are going to be covered. As we discuss again, it will be workbook based, where you are going to actively do and solve and fill up all the blank spaces and actively interact in the class as well. And there will be pre-session, post-session test as well, so as to assess your knowledge and again retest you after the session as well. Next comes the phase 2. In phase 2, we are not going to leave you just after the live classes. And even after the live classes, there is going to be active live test and discussion as well, which is going to be from February till March. And at the same time, you can access the QRP modules as well. So this test and discussion again will keep you on your feet, it will keep you on your toes, so that you are actively doing all this question, finding your lacking areas and focusing on that. So even the phase 2 starts from February, where we will be doing the test and discussion. And phase 3 is something that runs in parallel with it. So we have faculty curated question bank, which has nearly 20,000 questions. So you can start doing these questions right from September itself, and it is going to be there with you till your NEET PG exam. So you can go through the question, solve the question, and after you have finished like maybe 4 to 5 subjects or even 5 to 6 subjects, you can start giving your grand test and assess your level of preparation as well. So all these are the resources that is going to be there with you. So we have provided a rough schedule that's there for the next 3 months, how the coverage is going to be and how much days are allotted for each subject. So you can take a screenshot of it. I'm not going into the details, but just for some subjects in medicine, there is 9 days, surgery 6 days, obs and gyne 6 days, and each of the days are provided here. This is the initial 3 months. And later on, we will be providing the other month schedule as well. So this is a rough plan of how to go about it. So it's very important that once you have a proper plan, your mind is at ease as well, or if there is a lot of confusion from where to start, how to start. So this is the plan we'll be following for the next few months. So this is a rough image of all the workbooks as well. So is there any questions or anything that you would like to add? Okay, so all for the exams. Yes, sir.
Thanks for the excellent interaction, madam. Thank you. I hope we have answered most of the questions from the students. I'm seeing the YouTube questions. Most of the questions you have answered. So definitely students are going to get very well benefited from this live program, madam. And no other live program gives full course schedule with the schedule of the faculties, everything we have given in DocTutorials. I think students who are going to join this are going to get very well benefited. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Rajamahendran sir, Sonu sir, Rohit sir, as well as Rajasi ma'am for giving your valuable time and guiding the students. And this interaction doesn't just stop here. Even after this, if you have any doubts, we are always available for you to help you out with your guidance or anything which you want. If at all you have some doubts regarding MCQs or questions as well, you can reach out to us at any point of time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
And very best of luck.
Thank you. Yes,
Best
yes.
of
All the best, students. So please feel free to contact any of us anytime.
luck.
Bye.
My dear friends, I'm extremely pleased to introduce you to that online live program for NEET PG 2025. The class will be conducted by the 19 famous reputed faculties of different subjects. Number 2, will I be given the workbook? Yes, you'll be delivered the 19 subject printed workbooks in your home. What's the beauty of this product, Rajiv? A lot of students do not have the privilege of going to the offline classes, but they want to attend the offline classes. So that's why we're bringing the same kind of offline environment, but in the online way. At the comfort of your home, will I get access to the Q bank? Yes. The classes will be followed by you guys revising the notes of the workbook, which you will fill along with us in the classes. And after that, you definitely have access to the NEET PG INSTD Q bank, which is designed and curated and verified by the faculties only. Rajiv, if I miss some class because I'm an intern, will I have access to the video lectures? Yes. The beauty of the product is that you will get the access to the recorded video lectures after the class is over. So that by chance you miss or you want to revise something, you can go there and revise that content again. So let's work together for the NEET PG 2025.